Hey everyone, I'm Dan from JazzComposersPresent.com, an online space where composers, musicians, and listeners come together to celebrate the music we love. I'm joined today by Annie Booth, award-winning composer, pianist, and bandleader, assistant professor at the University of Colorado Boulder's Thompson Jazz Studies program, and co-founder of Brava Jazz Publishing. Annie is here to show us strategies for setting poetry to music.
Thanks, JazzComposersPresent.com for having me. So I'm here to talk about poetry and setting it to music. It can be a wonderful source of inspiration, both with vocal music and also instrumental music as well. So the first thing is to really dig into, of course, the imagery and the meaning of the poem. Spend some time with that and discover what it means to you. Doing not only that, but combining it with the structure of the text can be a really powerful strategy to start working with this poem. So why do this? Why combine the two? Gives you a place to start and take some of the overwhelm out of it. Think creatively about the mood, the imagery, and essence of the piece, and how you might capture that with the music that you're going to compose. This might steer you into a particular direction with harmony, with tempo maybe, or even bigger picture elements like instrumentation or orchestration, thinking about capturing that message of the poem. At the same time, you can think analytically about the structure of your poem. Can you mimic that structure in the craft of your phrasing? Maybe can you mimic that structure in your harmonic progressions? Is there an underlying rhythm or groove to the way that this poem is said out loud? And can you capture that in the groove that you compose for the poem? I want to take a look now at the text of a poem that I have set to music. This is called Beauty, Under Sun, Under Moon. It's an English translation of a poem by the 19th century French poet, Charles Baudelaire. And here, I just want to look at the first two stanzas that I've indicated above the purple line. These are two stanzas that I worked with, and holding on to that structure. I kept these stanzas intact with their text, but I played around with the meaning of the words in my harmonic progression. So I gave a little bit of some insight over in the right-hand column. I'm starting this out in E flat minor, and I'm really playing around with some modulations of light and darkness. So I'm giving a little bit of lift at moments and then pulling it back into E flat minor. That second stanza, when it starts with Swan White of Heart, which is just such a beautiful phrase, it's beautiful imagery. I push us into a major key and a brighter place from my E flat minor. I send us into F major and kind of stay in that entire stanza. In that world, even making my way to D minor still has a little bit more brightness for me than E flat minor does. So this is a way that you can kind of hold on to the form and the structure in your phrasing of the melody, and also though play around with what's meaning, what's hidden in the meaning, and give some harmonic color to shape that. Let's take a listen to this setting of mine of Beauty. So in that example, you can hear that harmonic change, the lift into the second stanza. And then also there's orchestration and instrumentation choices that I made, a big pickup floating line to enter into that second stanza, the Swan White of Heart, that helps further emphasize the meaning of the poem. So taking that meaning and the imagery and the essence of it, combining with the structure is one strategy for working with poetry. The next takes that idea and then adds a little bit more intuition from the composer. And that's recontextualizing this text and really feeling open to playing around with it and making it your own. It's still about honoring the text and what's there in that pre-existing poem, but letting yourself work intuitively so that the piece you're writing feels authentic to you and your music. Ask yourself these questions. Does the poem need to be exposed all at once in its entirety, or can you break it up over the course of your composition? What effect do composed elements like interludes, like improvisational sections, what effect can these elements have on this poem? Maybe a particular word stands out to you. Can you emphasize that? Can you repeat it in the lyric? Can you find other ways to draw attention to it? This idea of recontextualizing the poem brings out that playful side of composition. I want to take a look now at another poem that I have set. This is also from Charles Baudelaire, from his collection of poetry called Flowers of Evil. And I set 9 of these poems for a chamber jazz ensemble. This one's in French. And I've included these 2 stanzas here. And you can see I've broken up the structure. Unlike the previous example, I've decided to play around with a little bit. So I have an intro in which I decide to actually have the vocalist just speak these words, not sing them. And then the body of the poem happens where the vocalist is singing these as text. And I've kind of lumped these all together. This is a very dark poem, and I really wanted to create an environment where this darkness could linger. Not only that, but also where we could find the lightness that exists within the dark. And this is something that aesthetically is really native to Charles Baudelaire's work, Flowers of Evil, is this light and dark together. I stretched out this poem over the duration of a 9-minute piece and included a variety of diverse styles and improvisational sections. All of these musical choices helped to support my artistic choice to bring out the meaning of the poem and to make it my own. So I managed to find ways to add in some compositional elements to stretch just these 8 lines of text. Let's have a listen to my piece Le Voyage.
Ô mort, vieux capitaine, il est temps, levons l'ancre. Ce pays nous ennuie, oh mort, appareillons. Si le ciel et la mer sont noirs comme de l'encre, nos cœurs que tu connais sont remplis de...
So you can hear and see in that video how I've recontextualized this poem and made it my own a little bit with that spoken word introduction, with some really specific and mysterious orchestration, and then the body of the song, including some composed elements, some instrumental interludes that help me break up the text. And like I said, I stretched this out over 9 minutes, exploring some improvisation in between. Both Le Voyage and Beauty can be found on my 2023 album, Flowers of Evil, which is a collection of songs I wrote based on this poetry from Charles Baudelaire. It's for an 11-piece chamber jazz ensemble featuring vocalist Catherine Radakovich. To sum it up, poetry is a wonderful addition to anybody's compositional practice. And it's a great way to blend intuition and blend craft and draw inspiration from imagery, from meaning of text to connect with another time and place where this poem might have been written. And mirroring structure through harmony and form and rhythm is a great place to start. And then making it your own and really tapping into that creative side, that intuitive side, that playful side of being a jazz composer is a great way to start with this. And like I said, you can use this for vocal music, but also maybe you use a poem as an inspiration for an instrumental piece and see what kind of colors and magic happen from that. Thank you so much to jazzcomposerspresent.com for hosting me today, and happy writing.
Thanks for watching today's mini lesson. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe. Drop any questions, comments, or suggestions for future videos down below. To watch our full-length events and participate in live Q&As with our presenting artists, head to jazzcomposerspresent.com. Thanks, and we'll see you next time.